How is everyone doing today? And welcome to my channel. This is an educational channel. Try to check out great theories, discoveries, and concepts that are vital to your spiritual, mental, and physical health, but they've been suppressed. And powers that be don't want you to know about these things. You have to do some digging to uncover them, or you can watch the Wild Tangent channel, my channel, and this is a segment number 25, maybe, called The Q-Tip of the Spear. And we look at the info war kind of through the lens of the podcasts that I've seen in the last 24 hours or thereabouts. And I try to watch people that I think are on the tip of the spear. And so if I've watched you, it probably means that I have gotten something from your videos in the past, or that I like you. I might say something critical of you, but hopefully it's constructive because uh, basically, if I've even seen your video, it means that I like your channel more or less. Um, I guess one thing that I can't point to a specific channel where I picked this up or whatever, but just musing over my daily uh, you know circuits is just, I think, a real key for me for this info war is just not to take myself very seriously. you know um, when you take yourself seriously, you tend to get outraged. And when you get outraged, the info war is just one trigger after another. you know just absurdity after watching somebody just blatantly do something right in your face and get away with it, and over and over and over again. And then just, watching it. And if you take any of that seriously, you just get triggered, and then you get off balance emotionally, and you can either, get into kind of this wasting your energy on uh, you know fighting battles that you don't even, not the battles that you want to be fighting, or just getting black pilled, and just, depending on who's outraging you, or who is giving you kind of the bad news. I think a spiritual kind of teaching that's given me some mileage is just, it what happens to you doesn't matter. What matters is how you respond to what happens to you. uh, you can have the worst thing in the world, happen to you, but if you take it with the right attitude, you can turn it around to make it be the best thing that's ever happened to you. Even if you take your lumps, you can still say, "Oh, this is one of the best lessons I've ever gotten." You know, this is this was a great learning experience, because you don't really learn unless you lose, more or less, or at least you learn more. You know, And so, if you can really kind of be light on your feet, and you can uh, take the punches, because you're going to get some, and you might as well not just get outraged and just flail your arms fighting back, but just, take it in, and it'll make you stronger over time. And uh, there's an art form to it too. You can really learn to turn it around very quickly into a positive. It's, that those kind of things have a lot of energy in them. So if you can kind of transmute that, um, it can be powerful. So, I think that's something that I've learned that I think is is doing me some good, because it's pretty hard out there. Things are just quite absurd, and some of it's funny, but it's kind of like an inside joke, though. It's funny to you, but you can't, if you live in a kind of the situation that I live in, where you're isolated, and nobody, people around you are normies at best, then you don't really have any outlet for the funny stuff, and you just kind of have to take all the so-called negative stuff. But if you kind of figure out to how to transmute that, and you can also transmute it through exercise. um, it gives you energy. you know that's one thing that you can, possibly do better if you're kind of pissed off, is you know get a great workout. So these are just, um, you know they're usually, I say these things, and it's not like it's a revelation. It's not like it's something that you haven't heard, but it could be something that you needed to be reminded about. You know, it clicks in where it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Because these spiritual lessons, they're easily forgotten, especially when you get triggered, or when you especially get into fear. Then you can't think straight, and sometimes you forget the lessons that you've already learned. So just as a reminder, um, but I need a reminder, because there's something I was going to say that I keep forgetting, but it actually has to do with the revelation. Um, and this is my thing that I come back to just about every video, because I'm trying to scream it on top of the roof, because I believe that this movement is not going to be able to move forward on the basis of Christianity, because Christianity is a psyop. It was a psychological operation written by the Romans, and it can be proven as such. And there's a lot of people out there that are looking into the book of Revelation about what this is going to be portending for the future. Um, and I'm going to be working on decoding it here and going over the book of Revelation word by word, after I go over the book of Luke word by word. And I may try to do other books as well, but those two for sure, the book of Luke and then Revelation. But the purpose of the book of Revelation is to reveal that Christianity is a fraud. That is the true decoding of the book of Revelation. And so we're going to go over that and kind of paint that picture on this channel. Not right away, but after we do the book of Luke. But that is kind of the reveal. The reveal of the book of Revelation is that Christianity is a fraud. So um, be excited to go over that. And, I'd be excited to hear your dissenting viewpoints and why you think it's not that way. Um, because I'm not sold on any specific ideas. I'm sold on the truth. If you can provide me with better evidence, more convincing evidence, then I'm all over it. That is another thing that I was going to say. Um, in cases of like whistleblowers and people that kind of come out to accuse the rich and powerful, one thing that you have to keep in mind is if you have one person that says such and such a thing happened, and you know, and they are blowing the whistle on somebody rich and powerful, or in other way saying something that is um, certainly not in their interest in terms of what the ramifications might be, what the blowback might be. And then you have five witnesses who say that it didn't happen. Five witnesses who disagree with the first witness. Um, I'm still inclined to believe the one witness, even though they're overpowered by a number of witnesses, because those five witnesses didn't put anything on the line to make their statement. What they said, there's no ramifications. They probably got paid for saying it. They're not putting themselves out there to say it. So, even if there are five people that debunk one person, that to me is not convincing. You can always find five chumps out there that are gonna say what you want them to say, especially if you're rich and powerful enough. So that doesn't really move the needle, like really at all for me. Um, just my 2 cents. And that will do it for today's Q-tip of the spear on the Wild Tangent channel. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and we'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day.